Hey everyone, it's Tyler here, and today I just wanted to share some thoughts as we are getting ready to move this weekend. Moving and weddings are so interesting because no matter if they're a week from now, a month from now, or a year or even more from now, as soon as they're on our calendar, as soon as there's something that we are working towards, they become all consuming and they become something that we think about every day, and we take big and small actions towards every day as they draw closer. And so particularly when it comes to moving, it's interesting how they force us to take inventory and look at all the things we have and the way that things are now, but then we start to make decisions based on how we want things to be when we get where we're going. Because when we're in our normal routine and we're living somewhere indefinitely and we're at our job or our business and things are just moving along normally, three things happen. Number one, things accumulate. It's easy to just start putting things in drawers and under beds and in closets and out of the way, out of sight, and out of mind. And we don't have to deal with them because it's easy for them to just go there and stay there. And when we do that, number two happens, and that is neglect. It is easy for things to simply become neglected because they accumulate by being put out of sight and out of mind, and then they just stay there and become neglected. And that leads right into number three, where things eventually become forgotten. And it's easy for things to stay like that for a long time and even indefinitely because we're not forced to deal with them until something like a move come up. And all of a sudden, we start to think about where things are. We start to go through drawers, go through closets, clean things out, give things away, throw things away, and organize things because we don't want to bring all of that dead weight and baggage with us when we go. And so something that I did was our coffee table. Our coffee table has been through several moves and a period of 1 to 2 years in an outdoor storage unit, which is not awesome. And over the last couple of years, it's gotten looser and looser and looser. But because we got used to it and because we were just in our routine, I just let it continue to wobble more and more. And the other day, it took me not even 30 minutes to flip it upside down, tighten down all the legs, and tighten the bottom shelf to all the legs. And now it's as good as new. And it's so funny how since we're moving and we're going to be taking it with us, all of a sudden I got in this mode of fix all of the problems. And that took 30 minutes, and I could have done it 2 years ago, but I didn't. Same is true with our chairs for our table because it's been through several moves, and the chairs have been in a storage unit for a couple of years in Mississippi heat during that time. The legs were loose, and so what did we do? We just kept putting the ones that were wobbly aside and using the two that were in good shape. And I went to Lowe's and bought some screws, and I flipped all of them upside down, tightened the legs, put new screws in to hold the cushions, and now all 6 of them are working perfectly. I could have done that 2 years ago, but I didn't because you just become used to the way things are. And sometimes a very small amount of effort is all it takes to get things in working order. But it's so interesting to me how we'll drive a car with 3 or 4 things wrong with it indefinitely, but as soon as we think about selling it, we'll go and get all of those things fixed and then sell it. And even homes, we'll live in them the way they are for years and years and even a decade or two. And then when it comes time to sell, we'll renovate and fix everything and put in a new kitchen and new bathroom and all these things to sell it, but we didn't do it while we lived there to enjoy it. Another thing that happens a lot with me is just not getting lunch with people. You bump into people at church or wherever. Hey, we should grab lunch sometime. We should get a cup of coffee sometime. And then that routine sets in. Now we're moving locally, but if we were moving away, I would be getting lunch with all of these people and coffee with all these people because I genuinely care about those relationships. But it's funny how we're in a routine. It's easy for those requests to accumulate and become neglected and become forgotten. And it's happened time and time again over the last couple of years. But if we were moving away, all of a sudden we would want to see all those people one last time and connect with them. We could have easily done it when we were there, but we'll do it because we're moving. And we do this so often. I always wanted to go check this place out. I always wanted to eat at that restaurant. I always wanted to take our kids to that park, and we just never did it. And so it's amazing how something like moving just has a natural, inherent attribute of making us do things like this. Well, what if in our life, in our family, our faith, our kids, our relationships, and our business, we became proactive and we took inventory of our lives and our business, and we just shaved off the dead weight, and maybe we would just feel a little bit lighter and a little bit more clarity and a little bit more focused. What if we proactively began to force ourselves to deal with the things in all of those areas, and we were to, just like moving, start to prepare ourselves now for the way that we want to be when we get to our goals? When we look ahead and we see who we want to be when we get there, what if we started to structure our schedule and our actions and our life now to reflect the way that we want it to look when we get there? Because so often the illusion is, when I get there, I'll do this, and when I get there, I'll do that. But maybe if you'll do this and you'll do that now, it will get you there. Just like moving, when we go through all that stuff that's accumulated, neglected, and forgotten, what if we just shaved off the dead weight? I guarantee you, if you will force yourself to take inventory and even clean up your house as if you were going to move, and the things that you know that won't go with you now, if you were to just get rid of it and get it out of the picture and become more streamlined and focused and make now the ideal scenario that you picture there, just like you would do that moving, do that towards whatever your goals are as well. And so now that we've talked about taking inventory and being proactive, I want to illustrate something for you with going all in towards success and your goals and where you want to be. I want to show you two things. Number one, I'm going to draw a circle that is most likely not going to look awesome. And this is your life. And there's only 100% that you can give. We're all human, and no matter how optimized and high performing you are, there's still only one of you, and there's 24 hours in the day, and you have to at least rest some. So there is a limit on how much you can give to anything. And so all the things in your life just start to become things that split you up. And now there's several things that are naturally going to take up some of you, and our relationships and our friends and our families and our kids and all of that. It's good that those are there, but so often when we're in a routine, we just continue to take on things that just keep dividing us into smaller and smaller and smaller fragments that we can give, until we just start to feel like we're pulled in a lot of directions. And a lot of times the reason we'll take a new job and we'll move to a new area is we just want a clean slate. So some of these things are mandatory, but let's just right now fill this in. And this might be just some organization and some things that are in disarray and out of order that you just need to clean up. Clean out the garage, clean up the guest bedroom, clean out the hall closet, and you can get rid of that. And we can do that when we take inventory and we treat things as if we were moving. We can just start to take some of these things out of the equation and become more streamlined and focused. And I can't name all of those things for you. You know where you're at. So I hope that this video will just inspire you to sit down and write these things down. But what if you could become more like this and be able to give more of yourself to things that are important, to your family and to your job or your business and to your hobbies and to your goals? You can give a lot more when you're pulled in less directions. And so I just encourage you to take a look at the things in your life that you can get rid of and become as streamlined and focused as possible towards your goals. The last thing that I want to show you, the second thing here, is let's use this illustration. Oh, I have messed up. Is this us? Yes. So a lot of us, I'm going to use a circle, and that's you again, are going in several directions like this. And that happens. We get in a routine and it just naturally, organically happens. In seasons of change, we often streamline and shed the dead weight, move into a new season, a new chapter, and do new things. But inevitably, we get back in a routine and more things come. So this is representative of the pieces of the pie earlier. But what if we took ourselves and we were able to do this and really throw more of ourself in one direction? Because the truth is, successful people are the people who just become obsessed. They get so streamlined and focused on their goals that they give everything to it. And that's kind of what it takes. It's so much harder to give 50% of yourself to two things than 100% of yourself to one thing, because a lot of times when you give 50% of yourself to two things, you'll only go so far in each direction. But when you give 100% of yourself to one thing, you'll ultimately go much, 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 much further than you're able to go in two directions, because you become such an expert at this one thing, and you find all of the problems and you find all of the solutions and you keep pushing, that you'll ultimately be able to go a lot further in one direction than you'll ever be able to go in multiple. And so many kings of industry and best of the best are people that do one skill so well. It's so much so that their time becomes 10 and 100 times more valuable because they're an expert at that one thing than it is to be okay at something. Because when people want high-end consulting, they want the best and they will pay for it. When someone wants to revamp a part of their business that they know that they could 10 or 100x their profits, they will pay 10 times the amount of money to someone who's here than they will for someone who's here. So when you go all in, you become so good at the 100 percentile expert mastery level of that thing that it becomes worth 10 and even 100 times more monetarily, making it significantly more valuable to be here than it is to be here. And I want to end by just asking you several questions to provoke your thoughts. Number one, what are your goals? Where do you want to be in 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years from now? And maybe you need to hit that pause button and just write those things down. Define everything as much as possible. Even if your goal is pursuing wealth, write down a number. Write down how much you would like to accumulate in that amount of time. Next question. What are the most obvious and glaring things holding you back? What would be some of the first things that you could absolutely do just to feel lighter and a more clear headspace? Maybe it's some of the stuff I mentioned earlier, like cleaning up where you live, because the space that you're in is a huge reflection on who you are and where you're at, and cleaning up the space around you can help your headspace to feel very clear. So maybe it's something like that, or maybe it's something else. What are some of the most obvious things that you could do to just take that pie of yourself and get rid of some of the pieces so that there's more left over for the things that matter? Next question. Your time is your most valuable resource, because ultimately the amount of you that you can give to things comes down to how much time ultimately you can invest in things. Where are you investing time that you just need to cut it out because you need more time to invest in things that are more important? And this one can get pretty tough, because there just may be some activities that you need to drop, not because they're not fun or because you don't like the people that you're doing them with, but because they're keeping you from your dreams, because they're keeping you from your goals, because they're keeping you from succeeding, and you need to invest that time. And you need to combine that bucket of time and maybe a few activities, smaller amounts of time, into one lump of time that you can put towards your goals. I'm reminded of a story of a guy that I met, and he used, when he was a little younger, a few years ago, he used to hang out and play video games in all of his spare time with his friends. That's all he did every day after work and all weekend long. And he had ambition, and he always had that nagging thought that he needed to start working towards some things that would benefit him more. And when he told his friends that, they viciously turned on him. They immediately started asking him, like, what his deal was. Do you think you're better than us? Do you think you're smarter than us? Like, they just tore him apart. And it was hard for him to step away from that, because that was fun and that was his relationships. But when it comes to some relationships and activities in particular right now, this is a hard question. But are there small pockets of time that you need to nix and cut entirely to lump together and be able to throw toward things that really matter? Hit that pause button and write them down if you need to. And lastly, I hope that I've provoked enough thought that you just have things coming to mind, because all of our situations are very, very different. And so I hope that your thoughts have been provoked enough that if you've got some thoughts in your head right now, go ahead and just write them out and put them out there. Let me sum all of this up for you this way. You've defined your goals, your dreams, etc. What are you doing that's in alignment with that? And what are you doing that's not in alignment with that? And if you can, I would encourage you to do everything you can to cut out all the things that are not in alignment with that, because that gives you more time, headspace, and resources to throw into the things that are in alignment with that, because that's what it's going to take to get there. Thank you so much for checking out this video. And for those of you that are watching this and you need something to do to pursue something on the side or starting a business for yourself, in today's world where everything is moving towards the online world every single day and is going to for decades to come, everything is moving towards online and not away. If you're looking for a side hustle, a way to get started making money, something that can be started on the side and scaled to something that can be full-time and dream fulfilling and wealth creating, I've got something that is perfect for you, because it's a blueprint, a course from my childhood friend Greg Jeffries, SEO Affiliate Domination, which is a blueprint of getting started making money online. And it's perfect because you don't need any advertising budget up front. You don't need hundreds or thousands of dollars to spend on ads. You can actually get started for just a few dollars a month with a domain and hosting and put in effort, which you do have time, often more than money in the beginning. And it can be scaled to doing what I'm doing right now full time. So it, to me, is the perfect side hustle because it's A, digital and online, which is excellent. B, it's going after organic traffic and not paid traffic, so you don't need money for an advertising budget. And C, you can start small on the side with just an hour a day or something like that, or just collectively a few hours a week, and grow and scale it to something that you can do to replace your job and build your income beyond your wildest dreams. And so I've got an offer where you get that course and my coaching, and collectively you get the course and more of my coaching all as a bundle for a better price than you can get those things individually. And so I would encourage you to check that out if your interest is piqued. If you're looking for something to do in that space, this is a great way to get started. And to me, it's the perfect side hustle with potential to be fully job replacing, as it has been for me now for over 2.5 years. I'll put a link to that in the description or the comments, whether you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or wherever you find it. Thanks so much for watching this video today, guys. I hope that it has helped you with your mindset and framing your mind for success and taking inventory of your life. I look forward to talking with you, so reach out to me if this video has helped you and you're interested in knowing more. Thank you so much, guys.